respectfully, F a career path, create your own path. That has been top of mind for me lately because I think when I was going into college or when I was applying to colleges out of high school in 11th or actually it'd be 12th grade, I was really under the impression that you choose a career path, and once you choose your career path, then your life is made, your life is set, and then you never have to worry about work ever again because you're on this career path. So everything's going to work out, everything's going to be perfect, and you're just going to do that career for however many years, and then you're going to retire, and then you die. And when I lay it out like that, it sounds pretty depressing, I'm not going to lie to you. And I think when I was thinking about my career at the age of 17, I felt very overwhelmed. I felt overwhelmed because I was like, I don't know if what I'm picking is the right thing. Okay. I really don't know if what I think I want right now in my life is going to be what I want in my life 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now. I have no idea. And it felt like there was so much weight on what college you went to, what career path you chose, all of these different things. And at 30 years old, I can sit here and tell you none of that shit matters, okay? Because no one actually knows what they're doing. Even the people who go to med school, they become a doctor. Maybe 10 years into it, they decide, you know what? I actually want to do something completely different. And they do it. Okay? And no one actually bats an eye. It's only when you are a child, a literal child, where you're signing on to tens of thousands worth of debt if you're not wealthy or you don't have parents who have saved, who can put you through college without having to pay anything in loans. And if you do have that, God bless you. That is really awesome for you and I'm happy for you. But the majority of people don't have that. I didn't have that. Okay? And I felt this immense pressure to actually choose a really great school that had some name recognition because, hey, if you go to an elite school with an elite name, then you're going to be all set. And your life is just going to be made because you're going to make all these connections. It's going to be so awesome. And you are going to be super rich and be happy. And of course, as you might guess, that was not the case for me, okay? I went to a pretty great school. I loved my school. I had a great time. But all throughout school, I was kind of fucking around, for lack of a better word, because I was just vibing. I was just doing what I wanted to do. I got into the school. I was doing this club. I was doing that club. I was in student government, but not because I was looking to build my resume, okay? I simply did those things because I was interested in them. And I think I saw a lot of people around me who definitely had the mindset of, I'm doing this thing because I know this is going to put me on a certain path. I want that path. That path is going to make me money. That path is a respectable path. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think there's always been something innately in me that has said, like, you are having your own thing going on over here. Yes, people are doing all that and they are going to school, they're going to be a doctor, or they're going to school and they're going to do this or do that. But you're going to do something different. You're going to go into this as pre-med, and then you're going to actually end up midway through the year switching during the second semester into another school because you didn't like your first school and because you kind of had a plan not to stay at that first school, but you forgot to apply for financial aid and your parents genuinely didn't have the money to send you there without aid. So you switched to the next school, which was Smith College. Loved Smith College. Seriously did. And then you decided, I love business. When you were in your dorm room at your previous school, you were watching The Closing Bell, you loved investing, you thought, I should just go into investment banking. I'm going to go into investment banking. You go to Smith, you major in economics, but then you're also kind of wondering, maybe I should do something else. Maybe I should double major in something else. Maybe I should double major in anthro. Maybe I should double major in philosophy. Maybe I should just get a minor. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. You go through the paperwork once or twice, and then you settle on majoring in economics, minoring in philosophy, and you felt happy with that. You were able to get the more practical side with the economics and business and all that. But then you got the more airy fairy lofty side of philosophy. Okay. And then you did student government just for the hell of it, just because you had a conversation with someone in your house who said, hey, you should apply to be the honor board secretary. And then you become the honor board chair in your senior year. You would be great at it. Just do it. Okay. On a whim, just puts my name on the ballot. Somehow, I guess my name is known at my school. I get elected. Oh my God. I end up doing that during my junior year, the secretary position, working with the person who was in my house. And then during my senior year, I ended up being the honor board chair. Oh my God. All along, I'm smoking weed out the wazoo, doing all sorts of other illicit substances, going crazy, doing this, doing that, traveling, whatever. I don't know what's going on. On top of that, I did some running club. I did debate team for a little bit. I was doing all these investment demo days at these investment banks. Like literally, I have done so much random shit. I was also a DJ, okay? Well, not like a formal DJ, but I had a radio show on my school radio. So just so many random things that I've done in my life that I don't even really understand why I did them. And I don't think it's up to me to understand, okay? At one point, I thought I was going to play on my school's lacrosse team, but then I realized, actually, I don't know if I really want to do that. For a week, I was doing the squash team. Then I was like, I don't really want to do that. There's been so many random things that I've done in my life. I can't for the life of you tell you why I was inspired to do them whatsoever. And I don't think I'll ever fully understand it. But one thing I do know is that it has definitely provided me with a plethora of experiences with a plethora of different types of people. And I'm super grateful for that. And that's only college that I'm talking about, okay? Once I got out of college, I'm in San Francisco for a few months. I'm in LA for a few weeks. I go back to San Francisco for a few months. Then I come back here. Then I'm in Charleston, South Carolina with my grandparents for like 6 or 7 weeks. Then I come back to New York. Then later on, I decided I want to go back to another place, right? So I go to Miami for 2 days because I'd never been there, and the tech scene is now going crazy there. Then I go back to San Francisco because I had this idea in my mind that I was supposed to be with this dude who I met, who I knew nothing about, and I was super young and impressionable. And then I go back to New York. And then years later, I ended up back in Miami after a 2.5 week stint in Mexico City, which, by the way, I absolutely loved. I need to go back there again. Was in Miami for like 2 or 3 months, came back to New York, and I've just been in New York since. But I've worked mainly, I would say, for especially like the past year and a half in Greenwich, Connecticut, okay? And it's just been so interesting because I went from being in tech to also being a nanny, being a dog walker, going into retail, and then going into fitness, which is where I'm at now. And kind of what I'm doing now is I get to blend a little bit of the retail and the fitness because we have a retail area, which is basically a storefront at the top of the studio. So I don't really know what I'm doing. And I also forgot that I taught bar, okay? I was a bar teacher at Pier Bar, and that was interesting because I realized that I loved teaching people fitness, but I didn't necessarily love that modality. And that's why I quit, okay? That's why I decided to part ways. And it's just so interesting because I never know what I'm going to do next. And I'm thinking about doing something again. We're not thinking, I'm actively doing it, but I'm not going to reveal it until I've formally been accepted and it's something that's moving forward. But I'm going back into teaching fitness again, okay? And something that I'm recognizing about myself is that there is no career path for me. I'm just doing whatever my intuition is leading me to do. And maybe you should do that too. Maybe things don't have to make sense. Maybe the reason why you feel frustrated is because you believe that you have to make sense right now in this present moment. All of the things that you're doing and where all of those things are leading you to. And you will not know that. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. You can't do it looking forwards. And my biggest problem has been that I have been trying to predict all of these things looking forward. I also forgot that I've been creating content. I'm doing it right now. I still post to TikTok regularly. I've been doing these videos on a weekly basis. You're getting 2 videos this week just because I'm feeling it. And it's also Vlogmas. So I figure, why not up the videos for the month of December? But it's just so interesting. I keep saying that word. I feel great that I'm not putting myself in this box. And it's almost annoying that people thrust this box upon you constantly. They're trying to make sense of you so that they can categorize you. And I don't think that's fair. I think people who are genuinely living an authentic life, you cannot categorize them, okay? You cannot put them into a box. And I have been trying to categorize my own self, and that's what's been stressing me out. And maybe that's what's been stressing you out too. Stop trying to put yourself in a box. Stop trying to make sense of everything that you're doing, trying to plot this amazing course where it just all makes sense and people will get you and you're digestible and all of that, because you're only doing that for your ego's sake. And I noticed this when I was at an event yesterday. It was this wellness event for female founders. I'm not a female founder, but I'm definitely a woman. And I guess I'm founding this channel. Or I founded this channel. So sure, I'm a female founder. And as I was at this, I was talking to someone and we were talking to each other about what we're doing. And I found myself mentioning all the different things that I'm doing. And at a certain point, I was just like, I'm figuring it out too, because that's the honest to God truth. And she was even saying that she's figuring it out too. And I think so many of us are so afraid to just say that we're figuring it out. We don't know what the fuck is going on, okay? Who knows? On any given day, something crazy is happening in the world, okay? But the only thing that you can really control is you. How you feel about yourself, how you feel about the direction you're going in your life, what you do on a daily basis, your habits, your routines, the people you surround yourself with. Those are the only things that you actually have in your control. And if you want to live a happy life, a content life, because happiness is something that's fleeting, you could be happy right now and then be like, yeah, whatever, later, okay? So you don't want to chase happiness, but you can be content for the most part in every moment. And I think that is truly the key to life. If you can feel content in what you're doing, you wake up and you're like, yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this right now. And you're okay with that, that's when you're on the right path. And I think as I move forward in this game of life, because it really is a game, and I level up and I blow past things that I couldn't in the past, whether it be a mindset that didn't serve me or a certain personality type that would always frustrate me and now it doesn't. I'm grateful for the growth. And I'm grateful for the fact that I'm taking the pressure off of myself to be something specific, because I think for so long, I really tied my life to identifying myself by a career. And I don't think I'm the only person who does that. I think we're all kind of indoctrinated to believe that your career equals your worth. And it's just not cool, okay? And it's so interesting because I remember I had a conversation with someone about this career, right? And this person is saying, oh yeah, like I don't know what they're going to do once they age out because they've built their whole thing on this. And I think even in that line of thinking, it's that you can only be one thing. Yes, you might have built your skills in that discipline, but that doesn't mean that's all you are. And I think the issue arises when you equate your ego to that career. And then let's say something happens. Perfect example. An athlete. When an athlete has aged out of their profession and they're no longer a professional athlete, a lot of these athletes literally don't know what to do with themselves. They don't know what to do with themselves because for their entire lives, up until the point where they're no longer an athlete, they have been an athlete. Their ego is incredibly tied to the fact that they're an athlete. So when they're no longer an athlete, imagine the ego death they must be going through to deal with the fact that they're now transitioning out of that into something else. They're looking for something else to cling to. And this is why I don't think you should cling to any career. You should just be yourself, and you may be operating in this discipline. You might be in this career for now. You might be a chef for now, but maybe 5 years from now, you're going to be an artist. Who knows? Okay. I don't know. You don't know. Why do we all pretend like we know? Why do we thrust this idea that people have to have career paths in the first place? I think it's kind of unfair. And I think it really pigeonholes people, and it makes them truly align their entire identities with the work that they do. And then that's why we have people, when you meet them, they say, "Hi, what do you do?" And it's like, not "Hi, who are you? What lights you up? What gets you up in the morning? How do you enjoy spending your time?" That would be a much more worthwhile question to ask to get to know someone versus, "Oh, what do you do for work?" Because that doesn't really mean anything. And let's be honest, a lot of people aren't doing the kind of work that they love. They're doing the kind of work that makes them money. And in their free time, they're doing the things that they love. And my question is, how do you kind of bridge the two, whereby, yes, you create that stability for yourself, but you also are doing work that you love, that you feel is contributing to your own well-being and to the well-being of the community that you serve? Because I think that's ultimately what we're supposed to do with our work. And yet it's really become this thing of status, money chasing, and stuff that ultimately doesn't matter. Like, you don't get to the end of your life and you're like, "Yeah, I'm so happy I was crunching numbers as an investment banker." No one says that. Unless you are Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger and you just love numbers and you love doing that, which is not the majority of people. You don't really care about that as an investment banker. You care about making the money. Whether it's a hedge fund analyst, anybody in private equity, anybody in finance, most of those people are there for the money. Let's be honest. And when I wanted to be an investment banker, it was because I was thinking, "Oh my God, I'll make so much money if I am in there." And as I became aware of what was really required for me to be in investment banking, when I was going to these demo days at these investment banks, I was like, wow, that shit looks boring as fuck. I don't want to do any of that. And that's ultimately the reason why I pivoted from that into startups. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be the next Mark Zuckerberg. It's going to be so fun. I'm going to create this startup and I'm going to become a billionaire. And once I'm a billionaire, I can buy whatever I want and I'll be so happy. And when I think about the reason why I have desired this billionaire status, it's because I wasn't being honest with myself over the fact that I felt worthless. I felt worthless. And I felt worthless to the point where maybe if I had so much money and people saw me, then maybe, just maybe, I would be happy. But money can't solve that issue. You discovering you doing the inner work is what solves that issue. So I'm not going to say I'm rejecting the notion of being a billionaire. I mean, I'll take it, right? But am I doing everything in my power to become a billionaire? Absolutely not. I want to be very comfortable, and I'm working towards that as much as I can on a daily basis. But it's not about the money for me anymore. Money is a byproduct of the energy that I believe I'm emitting into the world. When I'm emitting an energy of love, of openness, of pure abundance, really, because I love every aspect of my life, a life that I personally created because I rejected society and decided to create my own path, that is the dream. And maybe that's the dream for you. I don't know. I'm just a girl on the internet chatting. And these are some things that I've discovered. So if you like these thoughts and you want to hear more, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, join our community, raise your standards. My last name is Standard, which is kind of a cool last name. I don't know how I got so lucky to get it. And I will see you all in the next one. If you think this video should be shared with another, go on ahead and share it with someone, okay? I don't know why I broke out that accent because it's really, really bad. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!